Jaya Saraswati Vyasa
Devi Saraswati Vyasa
Tato Jaya Mudiraye
Tato Jaya Mudiraye
Nastapeshva Bhadreshu
Nastapeshu Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki
Bhakti Bhavati Nastiti.
Before reading from this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, I would like to offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to Narayan Rishi, the supremest of human beings, to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Vyasadeva, the author. By regular reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam and by serving the Holy Vaishnavas, almost everything which is troublesome to the heart will be gradually vanquished, and the loving devotional service will become an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna, today is the very auspicious day of the appearance of His Divine Grace, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki Jai. And today we will speak about Bhaktivinoda Thakur because by speaking of him, hearing his glories, we will get the mercy of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And I was listening to two classes of His Holiness Bhakti Vigyan Goswami, and who was giving verse of this class on this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, and His Holiness Gaur Govinda Maharaj was speaking of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and I will try to repeat something what they said. And I'm praying for your benedictions, because I have no strength to describe the glory of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and the Srimad Bhagavatam, but by your blessings, everything is possible, and please pray that I can do it for the pleasure of Shri Shri Guru Parampara. So we are praying, and we started to pray today at 4:30 in the morning, so this is almost 4 hours of praying. And one friend of mine, actually, one bogus guru, before I met Srila Prabhupada and devotees, I was following one bogus guru, and his motto was, the hands that work are more holy than the lips which pray. And one friend often repeats this to me and say, yes, you are so much emphasizing the prayer, but the hands that work are more holy and more sacred than the lips which pray. Mm-hmm. So what is more holy, the hands or the lips?
I hear Sutapa Prabhu talk about the fact that when we saw the bulls walking and the cow just chewing on the grass, we can say, oh, the bulls are more efficient. But in fact, because the cow chewing, they make the milk and nourish everybody. So we make the point that sadhus talking with the mouth and spread the consciousness to everyone. They are at that part very, I cannot say best, but they do a wonderful job for this population because of the mouth.
So cows are chewing?
The cow chewing,
Yeah.
So because they chewing, they produce milk, and with the milk they nourish everyone.
Yes, so the cows are chewing the grass, and the bulls are working, but the cows are giving the milk and nourishing everyone, so the saintly persons are
chewing the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Chewing the Srimad Bhagavatam and giving to everyone. Thank you very much. Est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un qui parle pas anglais?
Can carry on.
I try to understand well. I speak English, but sometimes it's very hard for me. Non.
Est-ce que
Non, because c'est trop dur pour moi.
Nitai, sache surtout Prabhu, est-ce que vous voudrez traduire en français pour l'enregistrement?
Moi je peux pas, non, je passe, je peux pas qualifier.
Non mais c'est bon, t'inquiète pas. Il faut que je
Il est là,
m'habitue
il
parce
est là.
que...
Je peux parler les deux, mais
Non. Juste pour moi, t'inquiète pas, je vais m'habituer à ça parce que sinon, de toute façon, j'arriverai jamais.
Baptiste
Il
Prabhu,
connaît ça.
Bonne.
Il sait faire parfaitement.
Baptiste Prabhu,
Et
J'ai
par
demandé,
contre-
elle a refusé. Pas trop autre chose, j'ai demandé, elle a refusé.
Bah ouais, parce que je comprends
Carry on.
pas.
Il s'entend dans l'oreille quand
Ouais.
we will ask the senior devotee what to suggest. Should I talk both English and French?
No, don't do
Takes
that.
too much time.
Too much time.
Continue like this.
Don't
Very
worry.
good.
I'm okay, thank you.
Ok, please. Pardonnez-moi, cher spectateur français.
Ça va aller. Quand on voit pas.
So, the lips that pray and the hands that work. But what we should ask, the hands, what do they do? What are they working? For whom are they working? What kind of action are they doing? So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that there are different kinds of good actions. There is good for the gross body and there is good for the mind. So one who is feeding the poor people and opening the hospitals, doing charity work for the people in need is doing good for the gross body. And the ones who are opening the schools, giving education to people who don't have money to pay, they are doing good for the mind, because education is doing good for the mind. So yes, it is good, everything, this charity work is very good, but there is also topmost good, even higher than the good for the body and for the mind, is giving good for the soul. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that preaching the science of Krishna consciousness is the topmost good. Why is this topmost good?
Because we cure our false identity.
Yes, we are curing our false identity. So what is the false identity?
To think that we are the body.
Yes,
Or,
we are, exactly. We think that we are the body and that this material world is ours, and that we are the best,
yes.
that we are Krishna. So preaching the science of Krishna consciousness is helping the conditioned souls to go back to Godhead. And this is why this is the supreme good. So we will now read from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the process which Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave us. He dedicated his life to preaching Krishna consciousness, to writing books. He wrote so many books, so many poems to give us. He was Nitya Siddha. He was the eternal associate of Lord Krishna. But he came here to connect us to Krishna, to help us go back to Godhead. So he gave us this process of hearing about Krishna, hearing of his pastimes. And but why should we hear about Krishna? How do we know that this Krishna is God, that this process will really help us go back to God. Who is? So I invite you to stay with us and to listen and to see how we feel after reading about Krishna, about Lord Ram. Because it's about emotions, it's about feelings. Because we are emotional beings. And we are not machines. And we experience emotions. And we can have material emotions or we can have spiritual emotions. So this process is about, and this is what Lord Ramachandra has come for, to invoke in us the spiritual emotions. So we will read the verse. Natasya karyam karanam chavidyate. Natasya karyam karanam chavidyate. Natat samascha vyadikascha drishyate.
That's different from the verse that we had.
It's not this verse for today.
Oh,
We're on
my
verse
God.
20.
That's the 20.
This
that's
is
what I-
purport.
The 20.
Nidam yashora gupate surayad yayata.
Nedam yashora gupate surayachayata.
Nedam yashora gupate surayachnayata.
Nedam yashora gupate surayachnayata.
Lilata noradika samya vimukta dana.
Lilata noradika samya vimukta dhamna.
Raksho vado jaladi bandana mastra pugai.
Rasho vado jaladi bandhana mastra pugai.
Kintasya shatruhanane kapaya sahaya.
Kintasya shatruhanane kapaya sahaya.
Nedam yashora gupate sarayata.
Nedam yashora gupate surayachayata.
Tanor adhika samya vimukta dhamna.
Lila tanoradhika samya vimukta dhamna.
Shubhada jaladi bandhanam asras puge.
Rasho vado jaladi bandhana astra pugai.
Tasya satrubhane kapaya sahaya.
Kim tasya shatruhanane kapaya sahaya.
Nedam yashora gupate suraya jayata.
Nedam yashora gupate surayachayata.
Lila tano adhika samya vimukta dana.
Lila tanoradhika samya vimukta dhamna.
Raksho vado jaladi bandhana astra pugai.
Yaksho vado jaladi bandhana astra pugai.
Veda satruhanane kapaya sayaya.
Kintasya shatruhanane kapaya sahaya.
Nedam yashora gupate surayachayata.
Nedam yashora gupate surayachnayata.
Lila tanoradhika samya vimukta dhamnaha.
Lila tanoradhika samya vimukta dhamna.
Raksho vadho jaladi bandhanamastra pugai.
Raksho vado jaladi bandhanamastra pugai.
Kim tasya shatruhanane kapaya sahaya.
Kim tasya shatruhanane kapaya sahaya.
Nedam yashora gupate surayashnayata.
Nedam yashora gupate surayachayata.
Vilatanor dadika samya vimukta dhamna.
Lila tanoradhika samya vimukta dhamna.
Raksho vado jaladi bandhanam astra
Raksho Vado Jalati Bandhana Pugai.
Kintasya Satru Hanane Kapaya Sahaya.
Kintasya Shatruhanane Kapaya Sahaya.
Mataji.
Nedam Yashora Gupate Surayasya Yata. Lila Tanora Dikasamya Vimukta Dhamna. Raksho Vado Jaladi Bandhana Mastra Pugai. Kintasya Shatruhanane Kapaya Sahaya.
Nedam Yashora Gupate Surayashnayata.
Nidam Yashora Gupate Surayashyayata. Lila Tanora Dikasamya Vimukta Dhamna. Raksho Vado Jaladi Bandhana Mastra Pugai. Kintasya Shatruhanane Kapaya Sahaya.
Now,
No.
not. Idam,
Idam,
all these.
All these.
Yashaha,
Yashaha,
fame.
Fame
Raghupate,
Raghupate,
of Lord Ramachandra.
of Lord Ramachandra.
Surayashnaya,
Surayashyaya,
by the prayers of the demigods.
by the prayers of the demigods.
Attalilatano,
Attarilatano,
whose spiritual body
Whose spiritual body
is always engaged
is always engaged
in various pastimes.
in various pastimes.
Adhika Samya Vimukta Dhamna,
Adhika Samya Vimukta Dhamma,
no one is greater than
no one is greater than
or equal to him.
or equal to him.
Rakshavada,
Rakshavada,
killing the Rakshasa,
killing the Rakshasa
Ravana,
Ravana
Jaladibandhanam,
Jaladibandhana
bridging the ocean,
bridging the ocean
Astrapuge,
Astrapuge,
with bow and arrows,
with
bow and arrows.
Kim,
Kim
weather,
Weather,
Tasya,
Tasya,
his, Shatruhanane,
Shatruhanane,
in killing the enemies,
in killing the enemies
Kapayaha,
Kapayaha,
the monkeys,
the monkeys
Sahayaha,
Sahayaha,
assistance.
assistance.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Lord Ramachandra's reputation for having killed Ravana with showers of arrows at the request of the demigods and for having built a bridge over the ocean does not constitute the factual glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, whose spiritual body is always engaged in various pastimes. Lord Ramachandra has no equal or superior, and therefore he had no need to take help from the monkeys to gain victory over Ravana. Purport. As stated in the Vedas, Shvetashvatar Upanishad 6.8, Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate, natat samashabhyadikascha drishyate, parasya shaktir vividhveva shruyate, swabhaviki jnana balakriyacha. The Supreme Lord has nothing to do, and no one is found to be equal to or greater than him, for everything is done naturally and systematically by his multifarious energies. The Lord has nothing to do. Natasya karyam karanam chavidyate. Whatever he does is his pastime. The Lord has no duty to perform to oblige anyone. Nonetheless, he appears to act to protect his devotees or kill his enemies. Of course, no one can be the Lord's enemy, since who could be more powerful than the Lord? There is actually no question of anyone's being his enemy, But when the Lord wants to take pleasure in pastimes, he comes down to this material world and acts like a human being, thus showing his wonderful, glorious activities to please the devotees. His devotees always wants to see the Lord victorious in varied activities, and therefore, to please himself and them, the Lord sometimes agrees to act as a human being and perform wonderful, uncommon pastimes for the satisfaction of the devotees. Once again the verse. Lord Ramachandra's reputation for having killed Ravan with showers of arrows at the request of the demigods and for having built a bridge over the ocean does not constitute the factual glory of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, whose spiritual body is always engaged in various pastimes. Lord Ramachandra has no equal or superior, and therefore he had no need to take help from the monkeys to gain victory over Ravana. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyana Irana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtha Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Deshatarine Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this verse is the conclusion of Shukadeva Goswami's narration of the pastimes of Sri Ramachandra. He is giving a summary, a very condensed version of Ramayana because he is afraid the Takshasa, snake bird, will come and bite Shukadeva Goswami, Maharaj Parikshit before he will finish Srimad Bhagavatam, and we have still to hear about Krishna. So this is a condensed version, and here in this verse Shukadeva Goswami is telling what is the real glory of Lord Ram. And the Ramayana can be read from different angles, but then we can say that Rama is the Supreme Lord and he's showing his glories. But how should we read these narrations? And what is the real glory? Is the real glory that Lord Ramachandra is killer of the Rakshasas, demons?
You can say no.
Is his real glory that he's punishing Ravan, the greatest demon who kidnapped Sita?
His greatest glory?
That he punished Ravan. Because people say how this is about punishment, and I don't like punishment, God is love. Why so much about punishment?
I think about that, about Hiranyakashipu the other day, and my speculation say that although Nishingadev gives protection to Prahlad, when Prahlad asked him to calm down, he calmed down, and because Krishna is the most detached person, he's detached also to kill Hiranyakashipu as he detached to give some blessing to Prahlad. So I think for the same purport with what's the name again? Ravan. He can kill Ravan with detachment, and he can not punish him, but have pastime like this.
Krishna is the most detached, so he can kill Ravan, but he's detached from that.
Yes.
He does it for his pastimes. Okay, makes sense. And but what is the real glory? Here in this verse it is said that Ramachandra has no equal or superior. He didn't need to take help from the monkeys to gain victory over Ravana. So if we read this word superficially, we can think it is saying about that nobody is equal to or greater than the Lord. But this is not his real glory. So the real glory of the Lord is that he is coming to perform his pastimes. He is accepting the body which is suitable to his pastimes, just like an actor comes to play his role. But the difference is that the actor, although he may be more or less immersed in his role, absorbed in his role, still the actor is thinking, what is my wife cooking at home, and what will happen when I come back? Although there are some really advanced actors, but here is the Supreme Lord who comes and takes the role of the human being. Why is he doing that?
At my level, I can say that he came to make me feel love for him.
He made...
I can reach that he came and he showed us so many pastimes, so I can talk about him, I can think of him.
Yes, he comes that we can talk about him and speak about him. This is true, but more specifically, Lord Ram is experiencing his pastimes. He comes as a human and he acts as a human and he is experiencing these pastimes. He experiences the grief, the pain of separation from his beloved associates, his beloved wife, his brothers, his friends, Jatayu, his good friend who tried to save Sita, who attacked Ravana, who gave everything. He was much more weaker than Ravana, but he attacked Ravana with his full force. He cut his head with his arrows, but another head grew up, more heads grew. And then Ravana attacked him, cut him one wing. But he still attacked Ravana. He fought, and the Ravana cut him the other wing and mutilated him, and he was bleeding there, and Ram came and found him.
Almost dead.
Almost dead. Bleeding, but still chanting, Ram, 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 calling Ram, 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 come, I want to show you where Ravan went. But Ram was playing that he doesn't recognize Jatayu, and he pointed his arrow because what is this bloody creature? Some kind of demon. But still, Jatayu is so love Ram, he's not angry at him. He's chanting Ram, Ram, Ram and dying. And Ram with tears, he's performing the funeral ceremony and bidding farewell to Jatayu. So much grief, so much separation Lord Ramachandra is feeling in this pastime. It is not for him like an actor who feels some emotions, but Krishna is coming in his different incarnations, and he is coming as Lord Ramachandra. Krishna is coming in different incarnations with different rasas, and Lord Ramachandra is the incarnation of Karuna rasa, the rasa of compassion. So he wants us to experience these emotions by hearing his pastimes, that we feel what Lord Ramachandra is feeling when he is going, when he is separated from his parents, from Sita, that we feel these emotions of separation. So why does he want us to feel this emotion?
Because he loves to relish this kind of thing. In Goloka, perhaps you don't have this opportunity.
We don't have opportunity?
No, perhaps Krishna don't have the opportunity to relish the separation from. I don't know. I ask a question. To feel this kind of mood that he has when he do his pastime on earth.
Yeah. So in the 3 verses further, Shukadev Goswami says, "O King Parikshit, anyone who orally receives the narrations concerning the characteristics of Lord Ramachandra's pastimes will ultimately be freed from the disease of envy and thus be liberated from the bondage of fruitive activities." So this is the envy, because by hearing we become non-envious, because we all have this envy in ourselves. Do you have envy?
If you say so.
So I'm preaching to myself, but still, we all have at least little bit of envy. What does this envy means? Srila Prabhupada writes in the Purport, even in religious life, it is sometimes found that if one devotee has advanced in spiritual activities, other devotees are envious of him. So even in spiritual life, in religious life, we have envy. So this envy means wishing bad to others. And we have to be 100% free of envy, and then we can go to the spiritual world. This envy is disease born from our ego, because we think I'm the best, I'm the hero. We are the champions, my friends. Everyone likes this song because we want to be heroes. When I was playing with the orchestra, we would play film music, and the most repeated film music that we played was Superman and Indiana Jones, the great heroes. So we want to be Superman and Indiana Jones. But Rama is Superman, and Ram is the real hero. So by understanding that Lord is loving, that He's protecting us, He's not punishing us, He don't want us to go to hell, to suffer. They say, oh, all this speak of hell, this is bad, we will, why does God wants to scare us with hell? But we created this hell, this world is hell, because of our egocentrical attitude, that I want to enjoy, that everything here is for my enjoyment. But why are we envious?
We think we are protected from fear when we are the champion.
So Bhaktivedanta Goswami says we didn't experience enough love. When we experience that Lord is ready to sacrifice everything for each one of us, that He loves everyone, then we can live, we can love everyone. When we understand that God has come here and He is taking this role of a man to suffer, to experience pain, just to shake us, to make us feel some compassion. That He is doing this all from love. Then we can experience also love. So Rama is taking this lila for us, and his embodiment of Karuna Ras, the ras of compassion, the grief. So those are the emotions, because the real bondage to this world are the emotions. We are emotional beings, and we can say we have intelligence, but our intelligence is guided by our emotions. We are not really intelligent. Somebody hits us and we will become emotional. Someone says something bad to us. We hear that somebody criticizes us, we are hurt, we are angry, isn't it? So every incarnation of Krishna comes to invoke different rasas in ourselves. Spiritual world is full of rasas. It is not Brahma Jyoti. It is not it's nice, it's warm, everything is warm, I feel good. No, it's emotions. So Krishna, he invokes all emotions. He's supermarket of emotions. Akhila Rasamrita Murti. And he comes in different incarnations to evoke different emotions. So Nirsimha Dev, his incarnation of?
Anger.
No, Vatsalya Ras.
Means.
This means parental love. He was protecting Prahlad Maharaj when he killed Hiranyakashipu. He was licking like a lion lick his cup. He was licking Prahlad. Because he was feeling this emotion of parental love, of protection to Prahlad Maharaj. He said, dear son, you suffer so much. Parashuram, he came with which ras? Rodra, anger. He killed Kshatriyas 21 times. Varahadev, he came as incarnation of Bhayankar Vas. The ocean trembled of fear when he dived into the ocean. Balaram, Hasya Ras, joking Ras. And Rama come as Karuna Ras, compassion, grief. Because, why grief? Shoka. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, why are you grieving? One who is grieving over the body is a Shudra. So why should we grieve? Because Rama's grief over Sita is purifying. And in this way we can be free of material grief. Because we feel material grief. Why is this happening to me? Why didn't Ravana kidnap my wife? I'm suffering so much. So, to invoke this grief, because material world is tragic. So much pain we have in material world, isn't it? So much this body is causing so much pain. So the relationships are giving so much pain. We have most beautiful girlfriend or wife or best friend, so intelligent, so funny, but we lose them. We lose our parents. We cannot jump around like a young boy. Our legs are hurting. So much tragedy. Ram's life is full of tragedy. But the grief because when we see that somebody is doing something for sake of other, that he's depriving himself of his own pleasures for the sake of others, then we feel good because we feel the emotion of this person who is so absorbed in helping others. He's so compassionate. And then we feel the wish to do something for the others. I'm so grateful that I can be with all of you devotees who are doing so much for the sake of others, serving here, serving selflessly. Everyone is doing so much, from the young devotees to the seniors, dedicating their whole lives. I was living in Hamburg with Temple President Jagora Prabhu. He was working day and night, repairing bicycles, giving every month 1,000 euros to pay the rent of the temple. Then he started the Govinda's restaurant, and he renounced breakfast just to cook for the others, to give prasadam to people. So these are great souls, and by hearing Ramayana, we will experience the emotions that Lord Ramachandra experiences. This will evoke compassion in us. We will get purified. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is the greatest of the souls who live selflessly for the sake of others. He was, let's hear a little bit from the book The Seventh Goswami by Rupa Vilas Prabhu about the daily schedule of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Lalita Prasad Thakur, in his note on his father's life, described the Bhaktivinoda Thakur's daily schedule while he was staying in Jagannath Puri. He was never idle, being always engaged in the service of the Lord. Between 7:30 and 8 p.m. he would go to bed. 8 p.m. go to bed. He would then rise just before 10 p.m. in 2 hours, light his oil lamp and write books until 4 a.m. Then he would again rest for a maximum of half an hour. At 4:30 he would wash his hands and face, sit down and chant on his beads. He never showed his beads to anyone but would chant on them constantly as time permitted. At 7 a.m. he answered all correspondence. At 7:30 a.m. read various religious and philosophical works. At 8:30 he received visitors, if any, or else continued to read until 9:30. At that time he would walk back and forth on the veranda of his house, contemplating different religious questions and solving them in his mind. Sometimes he would solve them aloud, as if preaching to some unseen guest. He would rest briefly from 9:30 to 9:45 a.m., then take bath and breakfast, which usually consisted of a half quart of milk. You know what is a quart? Half quart of milk.
It's a quarter of a gallon. It's about a liter. Or no,
Yeah,
that's
it
about
was
half
like a
liter.
cup of milk he drank. And 2 chapatis and some fruit. At 9:55, Thakur would take his uniform and leave for court in his carriage. As a magistrate, he was a judge. He wore a coat and pants. On his neck were 6 strands of large tulasi beads. He was resolute in his court decisions and would decide a case immediately, not tolerating any humbug. He did his business and left. So he was solving the cases in 5 minutes, which usual judges would take 1.5 hours. He was so fast. He shaved his head monthly and never cared what anyone thought of it. The lawyers and Englishmen were astounded by the Thakur's capacity for work. At 10 a.m. court began. He would hear between 30 and 50 cases per day. yet he finished by 1 p.m. What took other magistrates 1/2 hour, he finished in 5 minutes. He took another 2 minutes to write the judgment in detail. Some of his British superiors became envious and tried to discourage him, but he was not affected. At 1 p.m. he went home, refreshed himself, and then returned to work from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Every evening after his court duties, Bhaktivinoda Thakur would translate some Sanskrit religious work into Bengali by dictating it to a secretary. Then there was an evening bath and a meal consisting of a little rice, 2 chapatis, and another half quart of milk. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur worked with a pocket watch so that everything he did was on schedule. Despite his heavy domestic and official responsibilities, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's every moment was embellished with an intense desire to render service to the Lord. He has 11 or 10 children? 10.
Some say 10, some say.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, 10 or 11 children. The magistrate in High Court, the temple president in Puri, writing innumerable books and poems, always finding time to accept visitors, to give them hospitality, to preach to them, organizing preaching. He compiled songs. He made the folk music into the music for Vaishnav songs. He went around and he was cleaning the holy places. He found out the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. He was cleaning the cities of the rascals, of the decoys, of the bogus yogis who had mystic powers and who were presenting themselves as God, seducing people. So much he did. Namahatas, organizing the 250 Namahatas, the house preaching programs.
Did he found also Brahma Samhita? That he discovered the Brahma Samhita.
So, here it writes 13 children. Yeah, okay. So,
More and more.
he collected donations to build a temple, and so we have almost all time gone. I will just say the message of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which is that those who have developed attachment to this material world, material objects of sense enjoyment, they're running after material enjoyment. Their desire is unlimited because they have desire to become Indra or Brahma. So there is no limit. There is no satisfaction. I can get no satisfaction. Because material desire means only to suffer. We can wish to have a skyscraper, a big house, beautiful wife, children, to be a king. But we will not be happy in the material world because this is not the purpose of life. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said this is great bewilderment. All these atheists and logicians and scientists, they want to make the material world a happy place. But the world is not Sukhalaya, it is Dukhalaya, the place of suffering. So, but one who have realized their own Swarup, the real form, the real position, that we are eternal servant of Krishna.
Jai!
and that this material body is temporary. So they realize, the souls that realize this, they know that we are staying at a motel. But our goal is Purushottam Kshetra, Goloka Vrindavan. But they understand that we are pilgrims who stay overnight at the motel and wait for the sun to come up so that they can continue the road back to Godhead. They're not attached to the motel. They don't make the motel more beautiful. They don't clean up the motel. Because the motel's owner is the Supreme Lord. So the Lord did not make the motel pleasurable. He made it a place of suffering. And it will always be. It will always be deficient. And the more the people try to make it pleasurable, the more they will suffer. They will be more entangled in bondage. So one who understands that we are Krishna Das, he will be happy. We are not Maya Das. We are not the servant of Satan. So if we preach this message, the human society will get happiness. So Srila Prabhupada said that we are these monkeys. We are like these monkeys building bridge over the ocean. We are the army of monkeys distributing books and building a bridge back to Godhead. So, thank you to be here, to inspire me with your service, to do this, and please forgive me my offenses. And I can speak long about Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There is so many wonderful pastimes. I'm ready to stay longer if you like. Somebody will fast. And but I will stop here, and if you, I would like to hear your comments or questions.
I can hear in this verse he say that Lord Ram don't need the monkey to build the bridge, because effectively Lord Ram can go to Ravana with a blink of eye. But it looks like that he wants the monkey to be a part of the team. So as you say, we are the monkeys. Look like that Krishna want to make a team, a family with all the jivas, all the world, and it's very pleasant to know this knowledge, because we can cut out of it and be a part of a team like this. So yes, when I relate with those monkey and those squirrel also, and the little ant brings some little sand stones, they have the part to do. It's very inspiring, this pastime for me.
Mm-hmm. I will repeat for the ones on YouTube. Bruno Prabhu is saying that it is very satisfying for him that to see that Lord Ram doesn't need the army of monkeys, but he is still engaging and forming an army to engage everyone in this pastime, even a little squirrel or a spider. And yeah, this is true. Like Lord Chaitanya, he said, I'm only one gardener, but I need to distribute this fruit of love of Godhead to everyone. But I'm only one gardener. How many fruits can I pick? How many fruits can I give? So he makes this Sankirtan movement. Krishna can kill Ravana. He doesn't need even to come. He can send coronavirus to kill Ravana. So many energies he has. He doesn't have to come, but he comes to make pleasure to his devotees. And he wants to see his devotee glorious. This is why we are giving this service. This is, sometimes we are angry. Our authorities, our managers come and give us service. And why are you giving us so much service, isn't it? But we can. They give us because we can, and then we develop our strength. And Krishna sees how glorious we are. And we spread the movement.
And we are purified by this process.
We are purified by this process. Mataji.
Competition is a material. Competition is a material thing because it comes from ego. But I read in one of Prabhupada's books, Vedasitas from the East, that devotees should, if they want to compete, they should only compete to please Krishna. So I understood that he was encouraging this attitude of trying their best to serve in the best way Krishna. What's your insight about this?
Yes, the competition is material tendency, but Prabhupada wanted the competition, because if we feel competition, then we should use competition in Krishna's service. Yeah. Yes, this is a very good question. Thank you for bringing that up. That we think of competition of something bad. Why is this competition, book marathon and reading? He is on the first place and he's a winner, so the others are losers. How can we be losers?
We cannot.
No, but everyone is a winner because, and this is right, Prabhupada wanted competition because this is what Revatinanda Prabhu explained to me. I was asking the same question because I was feeling bad. They are distributing so many books and I come up with 5 small books and they are distributed 20 Bhagavad Gitas, 40 Bhagavad Gitas. What a shame. So, but the devotee does not want to defeat the other devotee. Okay, there were cases when devotees were hiding the shoes of other devotees so that they cannot come out and distribute as many books, but this is not what we are following. We're following the devotees who want to compete, to evoke this competition mood with others so that they can get fired up to distribute more. And in this competition we will experience ecstasy of serving more, of making more beautiful garlands, cleaning more better temple. Then we will feel, I don't need competition. Actually it feels so good just to do service. But the devotee challenges to invoke this competition.
If it serves the movement, it's bona fide. We have to accept what is increase our potency to serve, and we have to reject what is unfavorable. If competition is favorable, we have to take part of it.
If competition is favorable, we take part of it, yes.
I heard from Radhanath Swami that competition between sadhus, higher devoted souls, they are, you are the most wonderful sadhus I ever see, you are the most enlightened people, oh no, it's you, and they make a competition of glorifying the others, and it was funny to hear that this kind of pastime they used to have.
Yes, the senior devotees are making competition of glorifying each other. Yeah, this is true. And it's also the competition between Krishna and his devotee. Because devotee glorifies Krishna and he serves Krishna. And then Krishna, he serves himself, the devotee. and he's glorifying his devotee, and then the devotee wants more to glorify.
Mm.
So it is the mutual competition. Mhm. You want to hear more of Bhaktivinoda Thakur?
Yes.
Or we should end here? Srila Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Ramachandra ki jai,
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
jai,
Nitai Charan Prabhu ki
Prabhupada ki jai.
Non c'è per forza, quindi,